So this last problem of the homework, I really think that if you look at it more than once and go through the trouble of solving it more than once, you're going to know everything that is needed for these first two chapters, essentially. It actually covers, with the exception of scientific notation, it covers everything. Now, each of you may actually look at the problem and take a different approach on a step-by-step basis, but there's multiple steps that have to be performed. And I'm going to choose one approach. That doesn't mean that is the only one. You could go a different way, and if you get the same answer, then that's perfectly acceptable. Now, here's all the information provided to us. We have a situation in which we have bottles of mouthwash. Each bottle of mouthwash contains alcohol at a ratio of 17.5%. In other words, this particular brand of mouthwash is 17.5% alcohol. Each bottle of mouthwash has 0.400 pints by volume. The density of the mouthwash is 0.86 grams per milliliter. And the question of the problem is, okay, we want to know how many kilograms of alcohol, which is mass, are contained not in one bottle, but in 150 bottles of this particular mouthwash. So, as I look at this problem, I think the very first thing I want to do is get out of the English system. Because I have the metric system in kilograms, I have the metric system in the density, and I have the metric system, in a way, in the alcohol percentage. Of course, this could be in anything. Now, I put here M over M. What on earth does that mean? We are told that the percent of alcohol is by mass. So it simply means that we measure these by grams over grams, or by kilograms over kilograms, not by milliliters over milliliters. So this was measured by weight, not by volume. Many times you measure the amount of a certain liquid by volume, not by mass. In fact, let me just take a quick side note here. Are any of you bakers? Do you bake at home? So one person, I bake, okay, a couple of you. Most recipes, unfortunately, when you are baking, are given to you in volumes. Cups, I don't know, what else? Pints, etc. That's very inaccurate. It's better to bake using mass, pounds, grams, rather than spoons or cups. The same applies to this. We measure the amount of alcohol in this mouthwash by mass because it's more accurate than by volume. Volume changes with the temperature. The mass doesn't. The mass of something is the same at 5 degrees Celsius, at 40 Fahrenheit as to 100 Fahrenheit. The mass doesn't change, but the volume does. It can get a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller. So that's why that is mass over mass. Okay. So what is the strategy? Well, I want to get out of the English system. To do that, I need to convert the volume of each bottle in pints to something in the metric system. Convert pints of, I'm just going to abbreviate it, mouthwash, as MW. So I have my conversion factor. 1 pint equals 473.176 milliliters. So two conversion factors as always. I have the amount of pints here, 0.400 pints. Now this is still per bottle, so I'm not going to complicate matters by adding that, but keep in mind that this is per bottle still. Times a conversion factor coming from here that has milliliters on top and pints on the bottom. So hopefully by now it's becoming almost second nature to you that I'm going to choose the one with milliliters on top and pints on the bottom. Pints cancel. And I guess I'm just going to put the number here. And hopefully you will confirm that the answer is 189.271. Please do it on your calculator so that you get practice. .400 times 473.176.
189.270. You divide it by what?
No, you multiply by.
189.270.
Okay. 189.27. And I know that the next digit is a little different for the two of you, but let's take a look. This is only 3 significant digits, so I'm going to reduce that to 3 significant digits. So I'm going to say 189, and that's it. I mean, I can leave the decimal point there, but nothing after, because that has 3 significant digits. And what are the units? Milliliters of mouthwash per bottle, okay? So that's first step. We've done it. My second suggested step is to calculate the entire volume of mouthwash that we have in all of these bottles so that we get rid of the bottle part. So we're going to say calculate total volume of mouthwash. Not per bottle this time, but the whole lot. So what do we do? We have 189 milliliters. Remember, I kept telling you this is per bottle, in one bottle. How many bottles do we have total? 150. So if I multiply this number by 150 bottles of mouthwash, divided by 1, of course, it gives me the total amount of mouthwash that I have in volume. So can you please do that? 150 times okay, a second person confirming that. 189 times 150. So do we have a confirmation?
I'm sorry, you divided 189 over 1 times.
And then times 150. Do I have a second person confirming the first, what was it,
28,350.
All right, 28,350 milliliters. Those are the units that are remaining of mouthwash. Now, with the density, we can take the next step and find out how much of mouthwash these 28,350 milliliters are in mass, in grams, because that's what this relates. So, step 3, use density to calculate amount of mouthwash in grams. That's the next step. Now we have to be careful. Here is that information. And remember what I told you before. There are 3 forms of sugar. Okay, so we have these 3 formulas. In this case, we want grams, so we need this formula. So let's put the formula here. Mass equals density. So we have the density, 0.76, 0.876 grams per milliliter. And we have the volume, which is this volume, right? The one we got in the previous step. So times 28,350 milliliters. Milliliters cancel. And the answer is going to be the mass of mouthwash in all of the 150 bottles of mouthwash. In 24,834.6. So 24,834. I'm going to just go to 835. No particular reason. You know, we're rounding up a little bit here, rounding off. And the units are grams. We're almost there, you guys. These are grams of mouthwash in the 150 bottles of mouthwash. Here. Calculate amount of alcohol using percentage. So this percentage. The formula percent is percent equals parts divided by total times 100%. What information do we have and what do we need?
We have the parts.
Let's put, excuse me?
We have the parts.
We don't have the parts. That's the only one we're missing.
We have percentage.
We have percentage, 17.5. And we have the total of the mouthwash, right? All the mouthwash, including the water and the alcohol. So that's the total. So we have, I'm going to erase that and put 24,835 grams. And what we don't have is the parts. So this is the alcohol. So now I just have to rearrange this equation, solve it so that alcohol is by itself. So percent cancels each other out. We're going to be left with grams of alcohol. 46? Yeah. Okay. So 3,000, oh, sorry, 4,000.
4,346.
4,346. So we have one more step. 5. Convert grams of alcohol to kilograms. That's it. And then we're done. We have 4,346 grams times a conversion factor that relates grams to kilograms. 1 kilogram equals 1,000 grams. So what do we do? By now you should know what.
You put kilograms on the top.
On the top, yes. 1 kilogram divided by 1,000 grams. So 4.346 units. Grams cancel. Kilograms of what? Of alcohol in the 150 bottles of mouthwash.